Hey YouTube, welcome to a special edition Sunday video of the Tuber Challenge. That's right, I finally sat down and did it, so stay tuned if you want to hear my answers. So I was originally nominated first by, I believe, Discus Newbie, and then Michael's Fishroom, and then KG Cichlid. And that's all that I know about right now. If there's more, I apologize, but that's all I've had the chance to see over the last couple weeks. So, well, let's get right in it. So the first question is, how did you get into fish keeping? And I'm going to go with, how did I get into it the second time? Because I had fish when I was in junior high. I had one tank when I was in high school, but I was mostly a reptile guy back then. And then I would say around 2011, 2012, I got back into reptiles, and then I got out of reptiles. I did it for, about a year and a half, 2 years, but a lot of things have changed since I was in high school, and I just didn't enjoy it as much. And so I had a lot of empty tanks just sitting around. And then one day I was out hiking, and I came up on this dried up stream that had a bunch of minnows just flapping around in the mud. And so I scooped them all up with my water bottle and hiked off the mountain, brought them home, set up a 10-gallon tank and threw them in there. And I forget what kind of minnows they were. Stickleback minnow? Is that a thing? Something like that. But anyways, I just found myself just sitting there watching these minnows school around in a 10-gallon tank. And so the next day I hiked back up there, and I brought a bigger bottle, and it was kind of funny. There was a survey crew from the forestry service up there, and so I was like, trying to be all discreet and scoop up these fish, because I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to take them out, but they would have just dried up and died anyways. So then I ended up with a ton of them, and I kind of kept them. I went to Petco and bought a filter, and just kind of sat there and watched them for a few weeks, and then ended up just taking them and throwing them in my dad's pond, which is huge. It's like 40 feet by 40 feet by 10 feet deep, so who knows if they're still there. Probably not, because there's all kinds of trout and bass and perch, but it's better than drying up up in the mountains, right? So that's kind of how I got back into it. And then I was just sitting at work and looking at stuff online, and found Aquarium Co-op, and found that it was like right next to my work, and I was like, oh, I gotta go there after work. And so yeah, it's kind of been downhill ever since. I had a whole garage full of reptile stuff, so I was pretty much all set on rocks and hardscape and lighting, and just the only thing I was missing was filters. And let's get on to question number 2. So there's kind of a few different number 2 questions, and I've found from watching all these videos that it's kind of like the telephone game, where they just kind of change and adapt over time. So number 2 is either what food do you feed your fish, or what is your favorite food. So I'm going to cover both of those, and I'll start with I have 3 favorite food brands, and so we're going to start right here. And this is the New Life Spectrum Beta formula. Ironically, my Beta does not even touch this stuff. And the Small Fish formula, the Crustacean formula, the powder for fry, float, of course, the Thera A, which is garlic. This is my favorite flake food. Oops. The New Life Spectrum Optimum Flake All-Purpose. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So, I love New Life Spectrum, if you can't tell. And recently I've got into this Aquarium Co-op stuff. And so, as you can see, this is like 170 grams for $10. Whereas these guys are 125. And they kind of vary between 10 and 15 depending on the time of day, basically. So about the same price, and I find that the ingredients are really good in this stuff too. This stuff is really good. I also like the fry stuff. I'm actually almost out of both. So I'll put a link to this stuff. I'll link this stuff. This Sarah goldfish food is a new thing for me, and I'm finding that my Guppy Pleco cherry shrimp tank, everything in there loves this stuff, which is good because I have a crap ton of it. I do use Tetra color flakes. Find the fish really go for that stuff. Then I have my Hikari with little marine lance shrimp wafers in there. But I do love my wafers. This is the big 2.5 or 2.2 pound bag. Sinking Cichlid Gold. And then my third favorite type of food, we've got the Community Plus, the CatCon Special, Crested Gecko. Yep, I do use it. Soylent Green, the Spawn and Grow, which I really don't. I kind of just use that when I'm mixing it in with the Soylent Green. And then these are the two new ones I'm trying out. Sorry, it's kind of dark in the fish room. Morning Wood and Bottom Scratcher, which I'm having really good success with these, so really happy about that. And then my least favorite food is all this stuff right here, which is all Ken's fish food, various catfish pellets. I mean, they're all pellets. More catfish pellets, more catfish pellets, krill pellets, premium cichlid pellet. This stuff, I just don't find that the consistency and the ingredients kind of match up on par with like the Aquarium Co-op or the New Life Spectrum. Certainly not with the Rapashi. Well, I mean, not even with the Hikari and the Tetra. So, I mean, this is good for bulk and cheap. And when I first started getting a lot of tanks, I love this stuff. And then, I was kind of turned on to these other foods and found out, wow, all of these foods are significantly better than this stuff here. I don't know why I'm saving them. I should probably just give them away or something. I don't know. And then there's still my frozen foods. I use bloodworms and mysis shrimp primarily on the frozen foods. So the next question is favorite fish. I don't think it's anyone's surprise that my answer is going to be Cyprichromis, which these are the Leptosoma utinta. I have some Cyprichromis down here, which is the Cyprichromis Leptosoma Speckleback MOBA, which really need to be moved into a larger tank. Come over here. These are the Cyprichromis Leptosoma tricolor blackfin. I've talked to a couple experts and I've asked what's the difference between a tricolor and a blackfin, and basically the answer I got is a tricolor can be a blackfin, but a blackfin cannot be a tricolor. So that pretty much did not help me at all. I just woke them all up, so they're kind of mad. But this is the Paracyprichromis Blue Neon, and see the black and yellow fin back there. There are 4, there's one right here, mystery Cyprichromis in here, and these are not the tricolor blackfins from the other tank. These are a fish that I ordered 12 of and only 4 came in, and they clearly are not what I ordered. So I did order Cyprichromis, but they should not have had black or yellow fins, so I'm just waiting for them to grow out so I can see what they are. And of course my equal love of rainbow fish, specifically Bosemani. This is a male Wamanensis, I believe is how you pronounce it. Starting to get his turquoise, greenish, bluish color, so that's cool. But I really love these Bosemanis. Probably most everyone's favorite, but this line right here is from Gary Lang, and I just think they look fabulous. But really, all rainbows, I love them all. Just like I love all Cyprichromis. Okay, so the next question is least favorite fish. Now, this has been kind of going one of two ways in other videos. They either name a fish that they currently have, which is their least favorite, and then they either just list a fish that is just not their favorite in general. So we'll start out with my least favorite fish in general. And it's kind of tough because I used to be a hater of like the bigger Central South American, just super aggressive fish. And then I went to Chicago and I saw all the show specimens there, and they were pretty rad. So those have kind of bumped up on my list a little bit. So least favorite fish in the aquarium hobby, mind you, is probably going to be the common pleco. Now don't get me wrong, it's a rad fish, but I just hate how they are mistreated. And if I could get rid of any fish in the hobby and just let it go back into the wild, that's definitely what it would be. Least favorite fish that I have now, I don't know. Probably, well, the fish I'm most frustrated with right now are my L183 Starlight bristlenose plecos, because those buggers just will not breed for me, and it's super annoying. But I mean, they're still friggin' sweet. So I'm looking around at a lot of fish, and I think that's going to be my answer for that question. Okay, so the next question again has been going one of two ways, and that is your favorite filter, or what filter do you use? What filter do I use? I use all of them. You see a sponge filter, you see a hang on the back filter, my 75-gallon crypt tank uses a sump. Oh, go slow. This used to use a sump and one day will again. But my favorite, I'm going to get back here in the mess, is this right here. This is a linear air piston pump from Gemco, and it powers every single, not all of them, but 99% of the sponge filters in this room are hooked up to that single air pump. And all of these tanks have at least one sponge filter in them. Sorry, it's really late at night. I found it a lot more enjoyable to do videos like this when it's late and all the lights are off and I can just turn on specific lights and cut down on the glare. But the only other air pump is sitting right here on the floor, upside down, and that's running these two right here. So yeah, there's my spiel on filters. Let's just jump into the next. What lights do I use? So again, what lights, favorite lights. So I have a couple lights. My favorite for the money is definitely going to be these Stingray lights. This is one Stingray that I use on a 75-gallon tank, and it's working phenomenally. Granted, all I have in here is a Wonder Bulb, which is this wrinkly plant here, and oh my gosh, Jungle Val. And we can also check up on this. You'll remember in yesterday's video, which was done on Friday, so this is 2 days ago for you guys, because it's Sunday for you guys now, if you're actually watching this on Sunday. And like I said, it does turn that pinkish, reddish, purplish, and it's already starting to kind of fade away there. Blackbeard algae hydrogen peroxide, in case you missed the video. Other lights. I used to be just the biggest Phoenix fan, but they've kind of disappointed me in the last year or so. But, you know, I got Phoenix. Where is it? It's down there. That's the Stingray. Oops, sorry about the fast pan. Phoenix. I will show you my least favorite light. I keep moving really fast. A lot of people don't like that. Sorry. This is the Aquarium modular LED, and this is the first LED light I bought when I got into the hobby, and it is a complete waste of money because it only comes with one bulb, and it's like $70 for a 4-foot. I think I paid $70-$80, and then every other bulb is $40. So I tried to cheap out and buy a $70 fixture, and then ended up having to pay the same price for 2 more bulbs, and I could have just got a Phoenix, which would have been way better. Now the other brand I am a big fan of is going to be these eBay lights, which Green Element, Green Element. If you look up Green Element, you'll see them, but these lights are super cheap, and this is a 36-inch fixture on a 75-gallon tank. And it's lighting it just fine. I'm getting algae growth, which is good for cichlids. This guy's just hanging out taking a nap, apparently. There's a Synodontis Burchardi, something like that. Anyways, back to lights. As you can see on the reflection here, maybe, I do have a T8 fixture with dual bulbs here. Moving along. One of the worst lights ever made. Just kidding. I just don't like them. And then Stingray. More Phoenix lights there. There is a Stingray on that one too. So as you can see, basically Phoenix all the way around. Oh, here I just used some chicken brooder lights with just some $5 bulbs in there. And that's it for lighting. Okay, so we're moving on down the list, and the next one is favorite tank setup. And I'm working on it right here. This is Lake Tanganyikan tank. Sorry, I'm looking at it in the reflection. But basically, I love, which way am I going? The pile of rocks, and then the jungle valve just kind of growing through it, and eventually this whole tank, that was weird. Eventually this whole tank will just be jungle valve, and then you'll just have kind of rocks, some wood sticking out of it. So right now, that's probably my favorite tank setup. Question is your dream tank, and my dream tank would be kind of, okay, so my dream tank would be something like this entire window just being a massive tank. You know, a lot of people like tanks as room dividers. I want it to be a wall divider. I want people to walk by the front of my house to be able to look into my fish tank and just be amazed and be awesome and sweet. And hopefully they would then go get themselves a fish tank. But that would be my dream tank, just a massive wall of a tank that's visible from inside the room and also from outside the house. And I realize that would just be a nightmare. Someone would probably just break it, but this is a dream tank. It's not really gonna happen. I'm dreaming it, so calm down. But yeah, something that it just encompasses this whole window. I think that would be awesome. A window tank for a outside wall. Okay, so the last question I have is, what is your dream fish? And mine is actually an obtainable Tanganyikan fish, and it is the Benthochromous trichoti, which I think was reclassified, but I'm still calling it a Benthochromous trichoti. And that is this fish here. Let's see if I can do this. And if you've never seen this fish, you really ought to do yourself a favor and Google it. Because while this is an amazing painting, the actual fish is even more beautiful. So that is my dream fish. That is one of my bucket list fish. And it is a fish that comes around every once in a while, so eventually I will own it. I think technically they say it's a featherfin, and it just gets massive. It gets, well, for a feather fin, it can get over a foot. So yeah, bucket list fish right there that I will have. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say by next summer I will have this fish in my fish room. Yep. And I think that's it for questions. Now I'm supposed to nominate 3 people, and the 3 people I am going to nominate are the first 3 people that I started watching when I got into the hobby. And even though they have no idea I exist, well, I did meet Dustin in Chicago, so obviously there's number 1, Dustin's Fish Tanks. That was pretty cool. I got to meet him and kind of talked about his trip to Peru and BS with him for a little bit. The next is going to be the king of DIY, Joey. Spent a lot of time when I first got into this hobby watching all of his videos. Okay, and the last one is going to be Rachel O'Leary, who is actually coming to Seattle in just a couple months now for our aquarium club. So I did see her in Chicago. I saw Joey too, but they're just so busy that I didn't really get a chance to talk to them. Not that Dustin's not busy, but Dustin had a booth, they didn't, and they were always surrounded. So, not to mention Rachel was in the aquascaping contest. So, you know, we're gonna have to power through this one. We're gonna have to leave comments on their videos and let them know that they've all been tuber challenged. I think tuber challenge, aquarium tuber challenge, something like that. Anyways, so that's it. I hope you stayed around. I know this is quite a bit longer, but I kind of wanted to give you guys a hands-on visual of my answers, and definitely leave me a comment. So one of the problems I have right now with YouTube is that I'm seriously subscribed to probably at least 500 fish channels, and it's impossible for me to keep up on all of them. I really try to. Sometimes I'll just sit down and I'll start at A and I'll work my way down. That didn't work because I'd get to like C and then get busy, and then I'd come back a couple days and I would start at A again. So now I kind of keep track where I left off. But when you leave me a comment, it triggers me, and I say, hey, I haven't checked out his channel in a while. So definitely leave me a comment just so I can, you know, see your channel and actually watch your videos. Because if I showed you my subscriptions, it is just pages and pages and pages. So yeah, leave a comment, please. And then also, I know I kind of did a little thing in my last video. I do have an Instagram now. It's just Steenfott Aquatics, same as my YouTube name. I try to post pictures every day, but as you know, I've been kind of busy this last week and a half, 2 weeks. So if you Instagram, definitely hit me up on there. Otherwise, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Just kidding. I'm going to leave you guys with my butterfly plecos L52 chowing down on some rapashi. So again, I'll see you guys Wednesday.